Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk with you about a really easy way to install Cloud Pak for data and, well, why you even need or might need Cloud Pak for data. And we will go through it step by step, and in the end you would be able to do it yourself. So what is Cloud Pak for data and why do you even need it? Well, to build a successful machine learning project, you need a lot more than just a Python runtime and some GPUs where you can train your model and then deploy it on some container as a service offering. You need a whole platform. You need something that enables you to load your data, to manipulate your data, to version your data. And then you need to train your models with that data, and you need to version those models. You need to store those models. Then you have to deploy them. You have to manage all those deployments. It's probably going to be more than one. And you've got to monitor all that stuff. Otherwise, you could get into quite big trouble. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways to build a platform like that. There are amazing open source tools that you can use, but you gotta invest some energy in making them run in your environment, integrating them within each other, integrating them into your workflow, and that can be a way harder task than you think at this point. So the easiest, most secure, most scalable way you can go is use a commercial product. I mean, we've done the work for you. The product that IBM is offering for that is Cloud Pak for data. It's the whole ecosystem, batteries included, everything you need to build effective, successful machine learning at scale. What does this Cloud Pak for data look like? Well, it's this. I've got a lot of videos where I go into detail about some of the products that are in here. Feel free to check them out. There's some pretty amazing stuff in here. But for now, we want to install this. This is a running instance that I already have, and I will show you how I got there and how you can do it too. So obviously there's official documentation on how to install it. And it's pretty extensive. There is a lot of stuff in here. And that makes a lot of sense to have all that stuff because this product supports so many different environments and pretty much all scenarios you can think of. But if you want to get started, then this can be a bit overwhelming. So there is an easier way to do this. It is called the Cloud Pak deployer. It is a completely open source project. Here, public GitHub under the IBM organization. It's built by some pretty amazing people. Shout out to Frank Ketteler, who's leading this effort. And it can do a lot of things. So let's start installing our Cloud Pak for data. Obviously, there is a good documentation here that explains everything we need to do. And the recommended way of doing it is setting up a virtual machine. The process can take quite some time, and you can do it from your local system as well. But yeah, if you want to keep it running for a few hours, it's definitely easier to do it via VM. And that's what we're going to do now. We will be hosting our virtual machine on IBM Cloud. You can host it wherever you want. It really doesn't matter. Azure, AWS, it's all the same for this purpose. And to create a resource here, and in IBM Cloud, it is called a virtual server for VPC. So we can leave all the details in here. Just give it some generic name. Resource group doesn't matter. CentOS, the image that we'll be using. It's a very small machine. And this is important. We need to add an SSH key. Which, yeah, I know we've all done it before, but at least for me, it's always a pain. So I will show you how to do it. We start by giving it a name. Just something very simple. And now we need the actual key. How do you do this? Any way to do it, I use my Windows subsystem for Linux for it. So this is effectively a Ubuntu machine that's running there. And I create the SSH key with SSH key again minus TRSA. Very important, -F, and you should specify a new file name here. If you don't do that, it's going to override your default IDRSA key, which can be pretty big pain. So we don't enter passphrase. For any production systems, you should always enter passphrase, but for this demo, we don't need it. Now we've got this key. Let's just print it out. That is the content of the public key. That is important. You always hand out your public key. You always keep your private key. Oh, kind of obvious. Great. Okay. Name already exists. Let's write this. There we go. Now we've pretty much got everything to create this server, this VM. I cannot show you the prices, unfortunately, but it's going to be around $100 a month. And you can just tear it down if you don't need it anymore. So this took like a minute. And now the VM is running. There's one more thing we need to do. And that's to edit our network interface. And we need to give it a reserved floating IP. So just a public IP that we can use. It's going to be the same whether you do it in AWS, Azure, or here. Always kind of a step you have to go through. And now to connect to the system should be pretty simple. We need to specify the key we want to use, and then the user that we want to use, which is root. And it's at this IP address. And this should, yeah, we need to add the fingerprint. Just type yes. And see if it works. Yay, here we are. Now that we are in our VM, we need to run all the commands that are explained here in the install Cloud Pak deployer documentation. I moved myself up here just so you can see the output of the console, and well, just go through this one by one. Probably gonna fast forward this. Okay, we succeeded building the image. Took like 5 minutes or something, maybe 10. Not too bad. And now we are ready to continue. There's a big part in the in the documentation here, which is pretty good explanation, but it took me some time to understand how it works. So you have the luxury of just following me doing it again. Maybe that's easier for you. So we do need some configuration. And that's the configuration I came up with, and that I already tested and that worked for me. I will probably upload it to GitHub, and I'm gonna have some documentation on where I found it. It's not hard to find, but there are a few little caveats that you have to take care of. For example, the name of the environment, it has to be all lowercase and has to be rather short, otherwise the Terraform process will fail. So those two files here pretty much define what we want to deploy. Cloud Pak for Data has a lot of different components, and usually you don't deploy all of them. And here we've got a list where some of them are removed and some of them are installed. And installed are the ones that will be installed. In this case, we've got what's knowledge catalog, we've got what's machine learning, we've got what's a studio, we've got what's a studio pipelines. So kind of a good package. Yeah, so we need to get those YAML files, and that defaults part 2, but I didn't change that. So those two folders, we have to get them onto our machine. The way you do this is really simple. Just navigate to your directory on your local machine where you have your files. Do a secure copy with your SSH key and copying all the folders that are in here into this directory on our remote machine. And just takes a moment. And if we jump over to our remote machine, let's check it out. There we've got our config and our status. That's what we want. One more thing is missing. At this point, we gave the deployer a lot of configuration. We set up the machine and all that sort of stuff, but it's obviously not able to do anything with that. It needs what we call an entitlement key, which is just the product key. It allows you to pull the binaries and do the actual installation. And it also needs what we call an API key, IBM Cloud API key. We do it in IBM Cloud here for this demo. That enables the deployer to create resources on my behalf. And the easiest way to do it. There are also other ways involving secret managers that are more secure, and I would highly recommend you do that if you do a production deployment. But what we will be doing here for this demo is just set them as environment variables, and you have them here. Unfortunately, I have to blur them out. But it's pretty simple. This is the API key. You can generate this in the IBM Cloud UI. And this is the Cloud Pak entitlement key. For me, as an IBM employee, it's really simple to get one. If you want to try it out yourself and don't know where to get your entitlement key, reach out to me. I'm pretty sure I can help you. Now we just source the little script that we wrote there, and that sets all those environment variables. And now we are ready to. And the way you run this deployer now is pretty simple. You just have to execute this shell script with the variables environment apply. And you also need to set the flag accept all licenses, kind of a legal thing that they have to do it that way. And you run this, and this will go on for quite some time now. So if you do this for the first time, it will take hours, definitely hours. So be prepared. Maybe you lose the connection to your VM, doesn't matter, you can just reconnect. It's all pretty straightforward. Oh, we're done. We made it. It's been, well, close to 3 hours. So not too bad. I didn't have to do anything in that time, so I don't care how long it took. And now we are ready to check it out. We've got our URL here. Let's take that. And it is available on the open internet. So, I mean, as soon as you watch this video, I will have deleted the cluster, so you won't be able to access it. And we've got our username, which is admin, and we've got our admin password, which is this cryptic string. And now we log in for the first time. Ta-da! So that's it. That takes you from 0 to Cloud Pak in about an hour of work. So it's never been that easy. If you've got any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And, well, stay tuned for more videos on what you can do with this Cloud Pak, what all the tools are that are in there, and how it can help you to be a more productive data and AI company. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.